So in terms of our accomplishments in this year, in 2023, the committee is actually only in its full first year of operation at this point in time, and it's been again a very busy year for the committee. A lot of emerging developments in the sustainability reporting space. So the committee has done, I think, 4 comment letters around this process, the most significant of which we're working on at the moment, which is the International Assurance Standard for Sustainability Assurance Engagements. And I think this is quite an important standard that's going to be quite influential in terms of the credibility of sustainability information that gets put out. So the committee is looking to really give meaningful input to that process and shape how that develops. Yeah, so in terms of what we're most proud of, I think just putting a mark for SAICA and its members in terms of creating awareness around sustainability and what it means for our members. The committee has done various things in terms of promoting this. So for example, we're quite active on SAICA Tech Talks, supported quite well at SAICA's first climate change conference. So we had many of our STC members up on stage doing their, taking their role in terms of advocating for this different way of thinking, for a more sustainable business environment, as well as, of course, influencing how this is shaping up at a country level, for example, by participating in the discussions around Direction South Africa for sustainability reporting and assurance. So I think these are some of the key ways in which, apart from the sort of technical work the committee is doing, a lot of advocating for this changed way of thinking across the membership base. Yeah, so in terms of challenges, I think with many of the committees you would hear that capacity is of course an issue, and I think it's exacerbated in the sustainability space because it's quite a diverse range of topics that sustainability can address. So we see climate change and lots of developments there. So we have the climate change bill from a South African perspective. We had biodiversity coming up to the top list of what's important to focus on. We've got the assurance and the reporting side of things. So quite a broad range of topics that the Sustainability Committee really needs to cover. So from a capacity point of view, we spend a lot of time as a committee trying to really distill what is the most material matters with the capacity we have that we can have the most impact on. So that's really just a challenge to keep a close eye on prioritizing those matters and doing what we can. Of course, we would be looking for partnerships with other committees or just at different platforms to have opportunities to bulk up that capacity, if you like. Yeah, so in terms of aligning with SAICA's mission and goals, I'm going to sort of use this concept of difference makers. As SAICA, I think the Sustainability Technical Committee is really seeking to have an impact in terms of its members, contributing quite well to being difference makers. I think in the sort of field of sustainability and the issues that these are presenting to businesses, we really need the role of the accountant to sort of take a step forward and contribute with the skill sets they've really already got to make quite a big difference in terms of how sustainability reporting can happen, and in that way drive different behaviors into businesses and ultimately sustainable development at the highest level, so for our country, for the world. So I would say that's sort of their biggest impact that they can make. Of course, accountants are very important in making a difference here, but obviously we need to always do that in partnership with other professions and other types of skill sets, so that we can, it needs to be integrated to have the impact that we need. Yeah, so in terms of setting up goals for 2024, we, as I mentioned in an earlier question, we actually did a lot of commenting on standards and proposed work plans of the various standard setters that have come out. So I think what we've been able to do is really focus our minds in terms of what the key issues are arising from those standards in terms of an implementation perspective. And I think that's where we would need to focus our effort going into 2024. We've got all these emerging standards available to sustainability professionals in both the accounting and auditing space, but now how do we actually get stuck into implementing that? So I would probably like to see the committee putting out some guidance around implementation and adoption, because that's of course where we will really see the impact is how we're able to make that come to life across businesses, to have that impact. So changing behaviors, changing mindset, and guidance as to how to do that. Yeah, so in terms of 2024 and partnerships, I think there's a lot of opportunity to collaborate with other structures within SAICA and even outside of SAICA. So for example, at our climate change conference, it really was highlighted again, there needs to be quite a lot of capacity building and skills development in terms of sustainability, especially for the profession, for our profession. So one thing, for example, we've started doing is inviting SAICA's education team to our discussions, because although the technical committee is not going to be around developing education, we believe this is quite an important area of impact. So we're looking at ways in which we can support SAICA's education team in terms of really getting that capacity building up and running with the sustainability focus, of course. There's many areas that SAICA needs to attend to in education. And another area where we're partnering or collaborating within the SAICA structures is with the ethics committee. We've also seen the ISBA going to bring out some changes to the Code of Professional Conduct around sustainability and some differences in approach that might be required as a result. For example, who can actually perform sustainability type of engagements. So we would be working closely with the ethics committee to provide the sort of sustainability technical perspectives on some of those considerations that are being made. Yeah, so in terms of the value of the committee's work, I think we mostly recognize that sustainability, and I think it's more around this different way of thinking in an integrated way. We need to think different capitals, different stakeholders, different time frames, so long term, not just to focus on the short term. So really the committee's work is seeking to create awareness and help to think along those different sort of multi-lines like I've just described. And so I think providing that support, firstly just by saying what's coming down the line, because there is a lot of activity in the sustainability space at the moment, trying to distill some of the key points that we'd like our members to start grappling with, and then following that with some guidance around how to actually go and do something with that new knowledge that they're obtaining. So that's how I'd like to see the committee contribute to members being difference makers.